So, I'm just gonna do the usual thing once again. I just need to make sure that I get this one correctly though. So, I'm gonna go to the Twitch app as I usually do. So, I can also check this. This is the meta quest, by the way. Has anybody seen meta quest? I bet you have. That black outline should be that important anyway. And this one is also fully charged, so we're good. Not to mention, I did have to make sure that I actually got that one set correctly. So, here's what we're gonna be doing. This is day 2 of the test stream. What we're going to be doing is something a little bit different than you would usually expect. And it's not the usual kind, it's kind of not the unusual kind either. What we're going to be doing today is simply, well, it's the second day. What am I going wrong with it? But we are, and I quote to myself, we will be going ahead and exploring the Nutty Putty cave. And on my side, for whatever reason, it chooses to have failure. If I look at the stream manager on my app, it kind of says nothing. But then for some reason, when I just go back at the thing, when I just go into the creator dashboard, then it just goes smoothly. Can I even hear myself though? Can I even hear myself? I need to play this back real quick. Yes, I can hear myself. Yep. Alright. Since for whatever reason the there you go, now it's working. For some reason. Anyway. For this one I'm gonna do a few improvements. First, I'll turn on a I think I should turn on the boundaries for this, but I'm gonna have to use this. Group skill. You see that outline? This outline that I've made was especially for a reason. On the last day, in this case yesterday when we were streaming, I was sitting down and look, you see exactly the location right over here. That's my Logitech G20. My controller disconnected from just hitting my Logitech G29 softly to show you. The battery still hasn't been replaced. But this is what I have planned for myself to fix. First and foremost, for this stream, I am not going to be sitting on the chair, my GT player chair. Instead, besides just putting on the wrist straps as you are seeing, obviously, I'm gonna be doing the best route that I think I could possibly do. I'm standing up this time. No more of that sitting, no more of that sedentary stuff. I am doing this completely standing, okay? I haven't done a single thing like this. The last thing I've done this was flipping Beat Saber. But, and this is the crucial thing, I will need to move my chair out of the way. Now I'm just gonna find a good position to stand. And now, I should be able to just explore. You see the controllers? I can pretty much go anywhere. Looking around. Let me pull up the menu. Oh yeah, go and follow Pam. Just, I have pretty good freedom. Just that I still need to be careful of this box. But I could have a good workaround for this. But just moving a little bit more. Anyway, it looks like we should be ready for this one. Let's restart Cave Crave. And I will need to make sure that I have stationary turned on, because it still doesn't choose me to do this kind of stuff. In a previous stream, we've done Devil's Gut. Now for this one, we will go ahead and make sure that we unlock something pretty unique, or I guess pretty important. We will go ahead and visit Grand Mall for a quick moment. And looks like for this one, I feel like I could just look over here and try to see if I can reach the chat.
Mr. Hollis? Here's Mary Carr, World Caving Association. We have an emergency. A Newcomb earthquake damaged their nuclear power plant and there's a leak of heavy water. People are worried about the safety of their drinking water, so we need to test it fast. But our regular team isn't available. Would you be able to help? Thank you for getting here so fast. We need to collect water samples from different heights in the cave. You'll need a rope and a water sampler. Pick them up. Good. To learn the rope basics, reach the piton at the tunnel's end.
No, we do not, because we already got that thing. And who cares about the flipping water sampler? We only care about the rope. Only the rope, and that's it. Also, did you know as I mentioned that you could actually drive a piton to stop your fall? That's actually a pretty good thing. Anyway, now here's how to access. Obviously, we need to make sure we have the first 3 stories complete, which we've done here, and we have already completed Devil's Gut yesterday, or I think it's last night. We're not going for the arcade mode, and we're not going for the horror mode either. We have here part of the tourist mode. Now, since anyone may be new for this one, let's go ahead and have a look at the making of.
Since the game recreation of Nutty. Since announcing the game recreation of Nutty Putty, we've gotten many questions about how closely the map matches the real cave. So here's how we built it, and why you can trust its accuracy. We brought in Brandon Kowalis, who had been there many times. An experienced explorer, cartographer, photographer, rescuer, and the author of the cave's official map, reproduced in the game. He provided all the data we needed to nail the details. We also used publicly available photos, first-hand accounts, and documents describing both the layout and the feel of the cave. We even tuned the moisture visible in your flashlight beam to heighten realism. Now the cave's yours to explore. Unlike the base game, you can't die here, and your flashlight never runs out. Enjoy the tour.
And here's the description. Nutty Putty Cave in Utah, United States, was permanently closed in 2009 following the tragic accident of John Jones, full name John Edward Jones, using the cave map and additional information provided by the one we all know, Brandon Kowalis, a rescuer who took part in the 2009 events. We have digitally recreated the cave as faithfully as possible. And Brandon will be our audio guide. Here's a little fun fact before we begin. Really quickly. Initially, it was actually going to be Ted. You know, Jake's father, Ted. Jake Hollis was apparently the name of Cave Crave. Forgot about Ted. But now, for the recent update, let's see if we can find the update, the Quest version. We are at Oculus Quest 2 1.0.8 378. So in this case, we will have Brandon as our audio guide, and that's gonna be really good. Now, I feel like we have a pretty good goal for this one. I am thinking we will be aiming for 95% exploration rate at best. We will try our best to see if we could get 100 or 99 maybe. But I feel like 95 has to be my goal. So let's go enter. And ignore the Vietnamese Ang Son Dong. Anyway, let's become silent.
Welcome, adventurer. I'm Brandon, and I'll be your voice guide through the Nutty Putty cave. Alongside this narration, you'll find 10 audio tapes scattered throughout the cave, one for each unique section. Collect them all to uncover the full story of this remarkable place.
Right, let's have a look. We will be starting at, as it says right on the screen, entrance. So for a pretty good path, we got the map already in a map. Well, map within a map. And I still got my handy dandy carabiner if I need to. And look, this must be the entrance from where we usually are. This will be the location of Utah, located in the United States. Also, did you notice that something just said Scout Eater? I don't know where Scout Eater was, but all I do... Ow. Whoops. I want to point, please. But what I do know... Oh, wait, never mind. There is this thing. There is the Scout Eater. Right at the Erota Cool. And this was actually published in 2004. Interestingly enough, it was 2004. The PlayStation Portable came out. I have the 3004 model, and I have that one jailbreaked. If I am able, I'm gonna have to make a deal for you challengers. If I can get my PlayStation Portable to be streamable, then you know what? Maybe I might do an extra day. I will call this one day extra. This is day 2, test day 2 out of 2. And you know what? Let's just dive in. Already the cave is feeling quite good. And here we have our first...
As you already know, Nutty Putty Cave is located west of Utah Lake in Utah County, United States. Despite its big reputation, the cave isn't actually that large. The total mapped length is about 1,355 to 1,400 feet, with a depth of roughly 145 feet. From this point, the cave splits into 2 routes. We can head left to enter the maze, or go right toward the famous Big Slide. For the full experience, I recommend starting on the left. Let's go there now.
Right, so we heard for this one, 100...
Look at your watch. The percentage shows how much of the cave you've already explored. Remember, you can rewind or pause the audio guide at any time using the tablet or the menu, which opens by pressing and holding the right stick. Hold it now and try adjusting the audio by touching the on-screen icons.
Now, we need to go back a little bit for a quick moment. At entrance.
As you already know, total mapped length...
You probably noticed this. The cave measures at 413 by... What was the thing again?
...is about 1,000...
So the cave's length is 413 by 413 by 430 meters and a depth of 44 meters. Am I even correct?
1,355
413, 430
to 1,000
and 44 millimeters. Oh yeah, look. So, looks like I was correct. The cave splits into half at that point already. And the length, the dimension, 413 meters by 430 meters, and the depth of 44 meters. Now, I obviously seem to have exactly forgot that I'm standing, and more importantly, where I am even supposed to be going. In fact, I am just now going for the air. But we're just heading to the left, which I believe is exactly where I am going. So here, let's go ahead and mark our location to let us know exactly that we have been arriving. Now the watch, okay, already at 6%. Maybe the cave isn't really that big as expected. Now, to get a pretty good exploration rate, apparently you would likely also need to be going around places a lot. Something like this. So I'm gonna be doing this real quick. And I'm even going to be taking a look at that part, which for some reason is part of the big slide. I guess it's a specific area within the cave. Now, I've already had myself a pretty good plan as I explore. For some reason, it also made me think if I have to go through everything vertically too. Or perhaps everything is meant to go in a horizontal dimension. We will be taking our time for this one, and already at 12%, but we do need to be aware. This cave has two main sections, as we saw on the entrance. As we head to a really good, I feel like this cave is really detailed. I actually watched Brandon Kowalis' video, and he actually did explore the Nutty Putty cave in this game with a MetaQuest 3 headset, I believe. I think he had a MetaQuest 3 or MetaQuest 3S. This game, where I am playing on the MetaQuest 2. So, I'm playing the MetaQuest 2 128 gig model. Now, here we are at the maze. Let's go stay silent for a moment and have a listen at our next audio.
Here we are. This section of the passage is called the maze, and you'll soon see why. Sculpted by hot water in some unusual forms, it's given many adventurers their first taste of getting lost here. You see, Nutty Putty is a hydrothermal cave. Instead of being carved by rainwater seeping down, it formed through hydrothermal activity. Its origin is also hypogenic, meaning superheated, mineral-rich water rose from below and dissolved the rock from the inside out. Quite unusual compared to most limestone caves. Take a look and let's proceed further to the big room.
On to the big room we go. Now this one also has another small branching path, so I'm going to be taking this, but this does actually link both parts of this section. It may be better if I just do this first, turn around, and then go through this as normal. I'll be taking this rock. Come here, you. I'll be taking this rock, and I'll place this here, so that we'll be able to know. In fact, let's go ahead and do the knowledge a little bit further by having another rock right next to it. So that way when we do happen to arrive back here, these two rocks will let us know. From here we can go ahead and head back really quickly. And just take this little shortcut. This other rock will also help us know too. And we go in. But first, really crucial, scraper. A little bit of a cleaning brush. Even though we have already explored 18% of this cave already, gloves are already dirty. And we can't clean it using water, I believe, because apparently you would likely have infection. Now, for some reason, I don't know why this was a strange case for some reason, but in the last stream I just kept on hearing voices doing Devil's God. And as we head our first 20%, it's just where everything starts to go into the big room. Silence again. Tape time.
Welcome to the big room. Compared to most cave sections, it feels open, tall, and almost comfortable. Many cavers pause here to catch their breath before moving on, so stay a while and listen. The cave was discovered in 1960 by a teenage caver named Dale Green, who went on to explore and document many caves in Utah. It's said Dale Green originally thought of calling it Silly Putty, but later decided Nutty Putty sounded better. Can't argue here. The cave takes its name from its soft clay-like texture made of silicon dioxide, the same mineral found in sand. As it formed upward through superheated water depositing calcite, other minerals were also left behind, creating a complex structure. That's why many passages are wet and filled with sticky clay, while in other places, the walls are made up of cherty limestone, sometimes coated with a thin layer of powdery calcite. Mind you, we're basically crawling through an entire semester's worth of physics and chemistry.
Now, the reason why I actually pointed up doing this is because of this. One of these parts of the cave actually has. Look at this. This is where my finger is pointed. There is water droplets coming. Well, that specific area anyway. And that's why we have. Let's see if I can catch a droplet. Unpredictable, but let's just say we got it. right on the pointed finger. On our first attempt too. It's really good. For this one, I thought to just go ahead and for some reason, my chest was tickling a little bit. Ah, that's because of my pen light. I actually have a pen light hooked on to my, well, not hooked on, but straight up just hanging from my suit. It's a strange thing, an unusual thing to do, but you get the idea. It just makes me feel a little bit more, well, how can I say this? Pretty much more techy, maybe more high tech. A higher tech, despite being on a pretty low end quality. In fact, I'm using a flipping 2015 PC. Well, the PC is pretty good. It's actually old, but the motherboard, the Asus motherboard, get this, it's from 2015. 11 years from now, and it's still kicking like a bucket, so it's pretty goddamn good for streaming. I would never imagine being able to stream at 720p, let alone streaming at 1080, which I tried, or I guess 60 frames, which I probably should have tried. Now, the detail. I forgot to. I seem to be getting so distracted that I seem to forget getting opinions on this cave. The cave itself really is so solid. I mean, I never explored the actual cave, but we don't even need to explore the actual cave. And you want to know why? Well, I mean, besides we can climb in this game, it's just sealed. And look, ah, this one is probably something pretty familiar. The Helmet Eater. Can I get off, please? Can I just... Oh, just didn't realize that I was standing. Regardless. More silence, and it's tape time, or helmet eater time.
The Helmet Eater. Why the name? Nutty Putty Cave became a favorite training ground for Boy Scouts, adventure groups, and college students, many of whom had their helmets bitten by its tight passages. The narrow, twisting tunnels offered just enough challenge that countless adventurers, including teens and scouts, squeezed in only to get stuck for hours, sometimes overnight, before being rescued. Thanks to its nearby location and the novelty of caving, it also earned a quirky reputation as a local date cave, where students would bring partners for a rugged outing. It's definitely harder to escape your date here. Well, all in all, these stories contributed to the cave's reputation as both an adventurous and somewhat hazardous place.
Now, I'm getting to the subtitle in just a moment. But did you notice that Brandon said that this was likely originally a date cave? This raises so many questions. What if you bring your crush here on this cave, and you arrive here to the big room, and then you started dating and marrying your girlfriend? You would marry your girlfriend in this very cave. Let alone the fact that it's sealed today. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine this? I mean, I will probably have this. Let's say I get a girlfriend. I think I would name Alice, for example. My example, I will take my example girlfriend, Alice, to the Nutty Putty Cave, or I guess Silly Putty Cave when it was the 1960. I would go there, I would take her there to the big room, and then we would start kissing each other at that point. If John Jones was there and we started kissing at that time, then so help me God, we will all die in probably the most romantic way imaginable. I cannot even think about. Oh, it doesn't get any better than this, and it does not even help that we get a helmet that we cannot even wear. But it's a really good prop, so I'm resting it back where it was. Let's see if I can rest it exactly. Ah, I'm grabbing the cave. Let's see if I can. There you go. I rested it just back. Wait, can I even punch this thing too? Ah, that's so much interaction. Thanks. Thanks. I love it, Cave Crave. When I can flipping put that thing back. So it's really cool. To summarize, let's say it's a date cave. So if I would bring Alice, let's say I would bring Alice to this cave, I would start kissing each other in the big room. Or in this case, if we want to be more specific, if it was like the birth canal, then if we had a baby, the baby will come out of the birth canal. Well, in this case, will come out her birth canal, and the birth canal is this birth canal, the cave's birth canal. So this would be pretty funny. She gets pregnant. We go to the cave. She breaks her water. The baby comes out of her birth canal, and the baby comes from her out of her birth canal and is born into this birth canal. I feel like I should stop talking about this because it's starting to get a little bit weird over here. But I feel like you get the picture. I'm honestly I'm honestly laughing inside just thinking about this. And speaking of this, I get to make another joke. Right? Yeah, I can make another joke. The crack. Everyone has a crack, right? My phone has a crack. My PC has a crack. Well, it doesn't actually. My phone doesn't even have a crack either. My current one either. All right. I'm gonna crack some silence as we crack this audio tape.
We're approaching the end of this section of the cave. Got yourself warmed up? Good. Perhaps it's due to its hydrothermal past. Temperatures inside Nutty Putty remain around 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 12.7 degrees Celsius year round. That may not seem very cold, but remember that movement through the cave is slow and the body has little chance to warm up through circulation. For caving, it's therefore recommended not only to have a helmet, flashlight, and sturdy boots, but also warm, preferably waterproof clothing. Once you feel you've seen everything here, let's head back to the entrance and explore the second part of the cave.
It's a good thing that Koalas mentioned the Celsius because I am in metric units. 12 degrees Celsius though? That's pretty cold. But it's not a freezing cold temperature that we have today. I mean, tonight is actually about 0 degrees Celsius. I'm having to open up my phone. 1 degree Celsius. And it's also overcast tonight. But here in Germany, here in Saxony-Anhalt in Germany, the temperature in January, so last month in this case, January, the temperature was surprisingly cold. In fact, one of those days we had over minus 10 degrees Celsius, and according to my Echo Dot, we could have expected the lowest of minus 17 degrees Celsius, and I called that one the cryo temperature. I called that one peak cryo. So much that it would really happen with water. Okay, that was kind of anticlimactic, and we finished this one with 36%. Now, it's worth noting this is tourist mode, so unlike the original base game that we've done yesterday with Devil's Gut, we cannot die here. The flashlight does not run out, as we saw from the infinity mark, and most importantly, what was I going to say again? Most importantly is that, as I saw and experienced from the Helmet Eater entrance, was that we don't have to inhale, we don't have to hold both triggers to exhale. And something I really also noticed is that when I held down both triggers, it kind of it kind of sank me a little bit down. Now we go ahead and go do some cleaning routines again. You know, just getting some grip. Now I do want to do a really good thing, so we're gonna go into the big room and I'm gonna drive a piton up there. Now, have where is it? It's in my dominance. Oh, I have to press the grip button. This is how to use a rope. We we reach our controller behind, grip button, trigger to open up, hook it to a piton. We can go ahead and let us down. Then we use the joystick to ascend or descend. Man, I really was wondering how far we would be able to go. Now, let's see if I can hold myself. I don't think I'm strong enough. My fingers! Oh. I'm gonna have to release myself now. Nice. And I did not die. It's funny how this was going... It's funny how this wasn't counting up to 37. Because if it did, that would be kind of a pain. I could do rock climbing like this. This is called cave climbing. Who wants cave crave when we could do cave climb? But I guess this really does make sense for certain things. Let's say arcade mode. This is where cave climbing goes in. Oh, I don't think we have explored that part yet. So just to be safe, we're gonna go there. Right. And look, there's a boulder. But I think I've just noticed on myself that I might have been missing something. What did I put again at the beginning? Was it the boulders? Or was it another thing? Another secret boulder. Hello. So far there have been no incidents in actual reality, which is good. Since standing, and it looks like I'm also starting to feel. I'm actually also feeling more awake. Because let's say if I was sitting the whole time, let's say a full hour, then sedentary. And look, there are the two rocks from earlier. That is a good sign. Because it really brings us together. And this is the next part of the location. I am heading ahead to try to get this one. What was this? More percentage? Show me that again. Did something show up on me? Huh? In its realism and the unique state of the cave, was able to tell with the crack and my silly joke when Koala said in the helmet eater tape audio tape that this was a date cave. I'm still laughing inside about this thing. But it's good. Very good, in fact. Now, the next part is to probably get around, head into sections around the entrance. Since there are also additionals. In fact, there's one behind the entrance, as we saw. I may be stuck there, but we can just climb over like this. I grab the rope. And then just, you know, head there. There's gonna be more percentage. Maybe 2%. Yep. I'm gonna do it all the way like this just to be sure. And then we'll arrive right here. And then there's this next area we have to get to. That's gonna give us a few more as well. We're almost ahead of the big slide. Did I just say the big sled? I mean the big slide. And just to be sure, we arrive at the location we'll need to go, and I'll also make sure that I don't, just in case I forget about this one. And now dropping down to the big slide, and it's not a small slide because otherwise you probably think I would be making fun of it, but I'm not. Why would I be making fun of the cave if it, let's say, if it was for a tragic death? Because this is a dead cave. I just need to stop. Gotta get that one erased. Now silence. Tape time.
Feel like sliding? You're not alone. At the height of its popularity, the cave drew more than 5,000 visitors a year. So much traffic wore the rock smooth, and experts warned that a fatal accident was only a matter of time in one of its main features, a long 45-degree chamber known as the Big Slide, where we are right now. Those safety concerns, along with the growing damage caused by constant use, led to the cave's temporary closure in 2006. They're also the reason for the ladder you'll find at the end of this section. Be careful on your way down. You don't want to meet your end here, especially in a place meant for a very different kind of rebirth we'll soon discover.
Quote that one immediately. But you know what? Thankfully, I really hope. I honestly really hope that the end was still cut. But it mentioned that we don't want to end up in a different kind of rebirth that we will be soon discovering. Also, did you notice that when I got too close to that rock, it just sort of, you know what it did. Right, getting back into position with 41%, and I caught this one. The moment the screen went dark, I feel like I was kind of getting away, and then my headset turned off, and then back on again. Does this thing have a limit or something? Like, seriously, I have to be honest. Does this headset, or I guess does the casting within the website have some kind of a timeline, kind of a limit for connection limit or something? Because I really hope this wasn't supposed to be the case. Anyway, as we go ahead and just clear everything else, Oh no, that was not supposed to happen. Actually, you know what? Let's just slow it down. Get that pit on, and I'm just gonna. Yeah. We're actually getting quite a lot of percentage here. And then we'll just go ahead and drop down. Ouch! And we're already at 48%. So in this case, the big slide goes to like 10% of this cave. That was kind of fun. And we'll do it again later. Now we're heading left. Interestingly, I kept going left in the previous stream. You know, I just picked like the majority of the time I just picked going to the left direction, the left path, instead of the right path. Trying to even it out was actually pretty difficult, and I could not even tell if I picked the majority to the left or to the right. This is where the cave starts to get pretty good. We are at 234 feet down. How much is that in meters again? I'm not gonna know what to say. Just, you know what it is. And the goddamn stream on the mobile app is not working again. Now, we're starting to get into where things get starting to get a little bit tragic. Well, we're getting closer to the tragic as we go to this iconic location. This is the birth canal. This will be Bob's push. Take time.
The corridor to the left leads to Ed's push and the story of what happened there. The corridor to the right takes you to the threshold of one of the cave's most famous sections. Its name speaks for itself and has long been a magnet for many spelunkers who came here straight from the entrance. I believe there's little point in describing it further. This is something you'll simply have to experience. See you on the other side.
Thanks, Koalas. Here's a little fact about Ed's push. In its original meaning, Ed's push was called Bob's push. And then ever since the death of John Edward Jones, it was then titled Ed's push. And Ed's push is where the name Edward, the middle name of John Jones, came in. I had to study a little bit about the family. Get that rock out of the way. And as we head to Ed's push, this is where things get tragic, and I have to warn everything. I feel like I'm gonna have to regret this. I feel like Twitch is probably gonna hate this one. But you know what? Let's go for it.
We're approaching the site of John Jones' tragic accident. How did it happen? On November 24th, 2009, John Edward Jones became trapped in Nutty Putty Cave after entering a tight, uncharted passage that he mistakenly believed was part of the well-known birth canal route. Instead, he had crawled into an unmapped fissure that was far narrower than expected. The passage sloped downward and constricted as it went, forcing him headfirst into a nearly vertical section where his body became wedged. Entering headfirst made it nearly impossible for him to reverse or maneuver once he was stuck. Despite more than 24 hours of effort, rescuers were unable to free him as the combination of the cave's fragile geology, the limits of physics, and human endurance made extraction impossible. In the aftermath, authorities made the difficult decision to leave his body where it was and permanently seal the cave, rather than risk more lives in a recovery attempt.
Pretty tragic, isn't it? And the interesting thing is to be a little bit more precise. The timeline was 27 hours of attempted rescuing of poor Johnny. Poor Johnny just got constricted to death, well, wedged to death or sealed to death from a cave that became his tomb. And there's also a pretty interesting thing because of the fact because he was actually stuck there for more than a full day in that cave. Koalas even did warn in a really good fact that this wasn't going to be they weren't going to be able to free him alive anyway once it was at that set threshold. Because let's say because of the fact, let's say I'm gonna go upside down for a brief moment. You see me upside down? That upside downness is where blood would flow on my head, specifically on my brain. You could tell that my voice is a little bit different. Yep, that's definitely upside down. Gonna get back right side up though. Oh, that was kind of intense. Maybe I should have gone for this again, especially compared to right side up, where upside down is a little bit. Oh, jeez, jeez, that I almost tripped. And it's got on the tape stream too. But yeah, because of the fact that so much blood went into the, let's say, to the head of Johnny, the authorities would not be able to rescue him at that state because at that point he would be dead anyway. This would be the fissure at 61% of exploration. It's a vertical location, and this was kind of a really unique believing that. I mean, it does look kind of similar to the birth canal route. I'm gonna go ahead and write a little message just for myself. Rip. I know you can't die here, but look, we found a sign. Final route and the resting place of John Jones, who died tragically on November 25th, 2009. So let's go have a look at exactly what this was going on. It will have this part, and they did mention it was kind of a little bit sloped, maybe. And this rock here would be the victim. See? Here's let's say one like this. We'll just be stuck. Gotta get back up for air. Now back in. Let's see if we can get through this just to be safe. But I do know that 3R Games, the developer, definitely added a huge wall. So in this case, you would no matter how hard you try, you would never be able to get through this. So this is where things goes. This does not even aim for gamification. So this part would never be accessible. I gotta get out. But yeah, at that point he was just stuck. And good thing there was an invisible barrier, which means we would never be able to get ahead anywhere through that dead end of the fissure. I do want to go back in one more time because this is where things would rather need to be getting interesting. So in this case, there would be hook. Let's go ahead pretend the piton. This would be the piton. Don't drive a piton there. Let's say there would be a hook there. They tried their best to have the one hooked up, but then it broke, so it then fell back down, and then it was just all over. You know, it's pretty difficult for me to just remember where it came from, but I do hope that I have got myself majorly correct. Majorly. Is that even a word? I'm not sure if majorly is a word, but let's say I feel like I'm just hoping that I got probably at least half of what I said correct. You know, the challenger just would not really be able to remember every single detail of the cave, let alone exploring everything. I mean, I could probably try to remember about 80%, but I failed the MSA degree, MSA, for, you know, at my school, elementary school. I only got the BBR. which is I'm not even sure what that was supposed to be. I really hope to go for the MSA. I'm getting kind of angry just talking about this. Let's just head to the birth canal, or I guess that will be her butt. Probably shouldn't call this the butt. It's the birth canal. I need to cover cave physics. It's not the cave crisis. It's the critics. Can I get to the thing? Oh. Gotta recharge. Get back. Back in. Out of the way, Rook. Here comes me. There you go. Ah. 66, my favorite number. If there was a decimal, if there was a decimal digit, then I would have been. Oh, there's 6-7 again. I still do not know what on earth 6-7 even means. It's kind of like a meme of some sort. But then we're starting to approach the other side right here. Nope. Starting to approach the other one. When we drop down, we will have the other yin yang number. We'll need to have that. And I see this guy. Right here. Right here. Do you know what that is? That's 69. And 69 is yin and yang. Yin yang 69. Or 69 yin and yang. Yin and yang. I should stop about this. Now, here's where things go, because this is also part of birth canal. Let's go here first. And we need to remember ourselves of the cleaning routine. I should probably clean my body, and I should clean the fingers and the gloves. Now, we don't want to go violent because then we will miss spots, so we're just taking it slowly and gently. Because you will then be able to get also the little pieces of dirt off the skin. Wow, why is this one constricting? What do we have here? Scout Eater or something? What was that thing called again? A flashlight? Who leaves a flashlight in the cave? That's dangerous. But you know what? Let's go ahead and bring that one with us. Ugh, caving. Where did my flashlight go? Did it just fall all the way back down there? Oh, there it is. Gotta be careful. Ah! I collided my controllers. Get back here, flashlight. Ah, this is getting so tight. Right, so in this case, I should just try to see if I can... Oh, flashlight's gone. The flashlight just clipped through the cave. Well, I guess we won't be able to have the flashlight into the entrance today or tonight. But I did try. So, hey, at least that's a good progress. The fact that I even tried to get the flashlight to the entrance that I was likely originally thinking of planning in the first place. Kind of an accomplishment. Kind of a crisis. Just like when I had 1.45 millimeters of screw length. I should... I can climb to this, maybe. I found a sweet spot here, and I found another here. Good. And let's go get rid of the green pitons. Ah, or Aerotacro. Now I feel like let's hopefully it's just anyway, tape time.
Even before Jones's death and the permanent closure of the cave, there were many cases of people getting lost here, with Boy Scouts being perhaps the most frequently rescued group over the years. Some veterans recall that the early explorations were much more wild, muddy, improvised, and with little preparation. In later years, rules, managed access, and safety protocols were introduced to prevent accidents and protect the cave from littering. Tired and panicked visitors had sometimes abandoned helmets, clothing, dead batteries, and other items, things that not only spoiled the sense of exploration, but in the dark, wet passages could cause dangerous accidents. The guiding rule in Nutty Putty was simple: never squeeze into a place you might not be able to get back out of. Here, you can squeeze through anywhere. If you feel stuck, try moving your head in line with your hands to push forward or back out.
Something like this. We can use our hands to just pull ourselves, right? This is exactly what I was thinking of. I'm not sure if I would be able to complete this. Oh wow, that's tight. I'm likely gonna need to roll quickly there, but oh, thank God it's not that long. But let's go ahead here first. We went halfway, and there was a drawing place. We can use chalk. This gives us a good 79%. Nice. And at that point, as far as I've just realized, getting that 100% exploration rate, well, knowing where the last remainders are, would be theoretically impossible. In fact, it would be very impossible at that point. Now that I already made almost 80% of the cave. I have to be honest, this is going to be... It would be a nightmare if I had to go through that last percent. But I did say in the start of the stream that I was aiming for at least 95, and this is a pretty good amount, so... Wait, 97 degrees Fahrenheit? That's... 0 degrees is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and 30 degrees Celsius is 86 Fahrenheit. So with this, I say it would be about 33 degrees Celsius. Which somehow is actually quite warm. You would have pretty good body movement at that temperature. Well, in body core temperature, that is. Ugh. And here we have, this must be Vein Alley. Yep. And this goes for the final tape time.
We're now traveling through Vein Alley, another biologically named section of the cave. Names like this, as well as the aorta crawl and the birth canal, are not merely metaphors for the vein-like network of winding passages. They also reflect the cave's unique ecosystem, which hosts an endemic fauna. Various insects and bats have specifically adapted to survive in these dark, narrow chambers, making Nutty Putty not only a remarkable geologic formation, but also a site of considerable biological interest. The alley has several branches. If you want to achieve a 100% exploration rating of the cave, try to visit them all. The Vein Alley marks the end of the right route through the cave. So when you feel you've had enough, you can make your way back to the entrance.
Safe to say, I am really proud of how Brandon Kowalas did with the voicing of all these audio tapes that Ted originally recorded. But Pietro Somaris, man, this Polish developer is I don't know how to put this one into a positive note. He's kind of a madman. He's quite a crazy madman when it comes to making that entire cave all 1-to-1, replicating the exact dimensions. Is 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 the developer really that crazy at bringing? Well, I mean, we do appreciate everything, but is it really that necessary to bring such a huge piece of history from reality into virtual? I mean, it really asks so many questions about, let's say, the ecosystem and the unique endemic fauna that was mentioned in the cave. Especially for the fact that we can actually just climb anywhere and crawl anywhere in the cave in virtual reality. This will be a really good picture. And here we have a carabiner, which is similar to my carabiner. Can I hook these carabiner to this carabiner? I don't think I can. Just to make sure I get all the way through. And unless of course I must have been mistaken this, but unless of course the radius of exploration value is, let's say, pretty big, getting to 100 now is pretty much impossible. Well, unless of course you explore, well, unless you know that you will be able to pretty much explore every single path of the cave and go through it everything like many times. It will take you like many laps and possibly even many visits, many revisits around passages and sections of caves to even complete. Which is probably a good reason why I just seem to go through all, even the small dead ends, just to be safe. Boink. Boink. And boink boink. The boink 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 of the balls, rocks. These are not balls, these are rocks. Boink. At that point, if we did not clean ourselves at all, we would be very dirty. Or we would probably smell like nature. But that passage here is pretty tight, the second branch, or I guess you did mention it had several branches. And I counted 3. Never mind, there were 2 branches. 95%. Let's see. I feel like this is gonna be... I feel like this should be it. Let's see if we're able to get that 100% here already. Well, not already, but you get the picture. Here's the final section of... Final path of the cave. It's pretty big. And pretty much huge. Oh. Heading here first. I bet we probably would not be able... Yeah, we cannot even wash ourselves there. A coin! Is that a US coin? I will try to exit the cave with this. I'll put this coin here. And let's see if this one fills us all the way. Probably not. Well, let's see if we can still get that 99. Give me 99! There's no 99. Seems like I've missed the other 2% of the cave. But you know what? Let's start grabbing the coin. This is probably going to be a very good challenge. I'm going to try to get back to the entrance with this coin. It's funny how this is actually a US coin. Is that a quarter filler, maybe? Maybe a nickel or a dime? I don't know. But I do know it's kind of probably a nickel. Or maybe even... Ah! My coin! Ah, went over here. I have to make sure not to grab my hand. It just... What the hell? For the love of Jesus! And did that coin just go all the way back? Come on, please don't tell me. I literally found that coin. It's gone. I was really challenging myself at that point, but I guess not. How about this rock? Come on, at least I have to get something from a very far distance back into the entrance. No, don't grab the rock. Unless, of course, there may be something specific in the game where certain objects can only go for like a certain distance and then they will just probably disappear. In that case, I'm just gonna abandon that challenge. Back in that rock goes. And so we abandon both the flashlight and the coin. Gotta get back. And my face is kind of getting cooked. Is the headset warm? Yeah, the headset is. I gotta go now. I cannot believe that I literally just adjusted my beam unexpectedly. Loosen it a little bit. Maybe try to get some relief. Maybe because it was so tight, it was actually starting to get quite hot. At least on my face, and then that pressure would cause quite a lot of discomfort. Now, through birth canal again. This time we're going down, so in this case we'll be going out of someone's butt. I believe that there may be some that I might have missed while navigating through the big slide, which I really hope must be the case. The big slide was like a majority. And I definitely seem to remember that I did, in fact, did some zigzagging around the first half of the cave. But maybe not with this one. I'm gonna start doing some climbing. Maybe maybe I should have went up like this. That would be a lot easier. And there. There. And then we'll start climbing our way up. This is kind of like, this reminds me of the game Slippery Stairs. Except it's Cave Crave style. So if we start to slip, yeah, there you go, that's 99. If we start to slip at that point, then then we will likely fall back down unless we will be able to catch ourselves. I have a bad feeling about this one because, yeah, so the part of this cave like here is where it slips. Oh! Wait, there was a pit on there, wasn't it? Should I set this as a checkpoint? I don't know. I don't know, man. Or perhaps while we're at it, we could probably just explore around the side, and this gets the other half of the cave. Right here. Oh, no, 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 I don't want to go back. Oh. Oh, I am all the way back down. Shoot, I just... Surely before I even realized it. Wow, that's so dirty. Really forgot. Right, this time I'm on there. Where was I? Ah, yeah, tightening. Grabbing everything else and then just going for it. So far, so good. There's that piton. Or piton. I think Piton is how you say it, but the game said Piton. Well, in the story, I guess it is. And it's really spacious. Man, the tracking ring really provides protection from controller to controller. That's really good. Glad I got the Meta Quest 2 for the tracking ring. And oh, we're already at the end. Oh, I guess we are back at the top. We did reach 99 though, yes! That 99 is the best. And there goes back good. Now, unless I must have missed, let's see if we can climb our way up there. Gonna need some pitons. And, oh, the piton doesn't fit. Where then? Nowhere at the entrance. But somehow I got more grip. We got the 100! Oh, jeez. Now, how am I gonna get out? Oh, I can actually walk there. Is there any more grip? Can I get further? Oh, I guess we'll just have to descend. 100% exploration rate over there, boys and girls. 100%? You kidding me? 100! 100! And I can conveniently show this. Yes! Right, let's see what that area was. The Scout Eater. Similar to the Helmet Eater. And I guess I could probably use this. No. We got all of them. Every single one of them. 100%. I'm so happy. I'm so happy, man. Kazumura Cave in Hawaii, the longest known level 2, 40 miles in length. 40 miles, 16, 32, 64 kilometers in fact. Alright, there's that fully 100% that koalas taste us. Yes! Amazing. Now, back to reality. Ooh. So glad to be back at the reality. I get to move around here. You cannot really see this because it's actually a blank background, but for me, I can see my room in monochrome. I guess we can go ahead and put the controllers there. Right controller disconnected itself conveniently. And that will help us. That will leave us here. We explored Nutty Putty Cave fully, entirely. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this one as well. This does, however, mark the end of the testing stream. But maybe one day, maybe 1 week, I'll be streaming on Twitch again. This will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. So now just from there, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn my virtual headset off. It's not looking pretty happy. But that's because we streamed longer. So now, let's sign off. A challenger doesn't give